Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here with TGI Sports Talks MLB update. Good to have you with us. We'll be joined in just a second by Drew Erhlich, our resident baseball aficionado. We'll see how we did with our not our first half picks, our preseason picks. I'm not sure how it's going to go. And then we'll have to worry about Drew's audio a little bit maybe, but the last 3 minutes of our conversation, it was pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. I want to welcome everybody today watching on Facebook, TGI Sports Talks Facebook feed, our YouTube feed. X will be replayed because we cannot no longer go live to X, unfortunately. But we are live on Roku on the National Streaming Sports Roku app. Make sure you get those downloaded. Simply with the Roku, it's a channel, I should say. It's the National Streaming Sports channel or Northeast Streaming Sports because it probably hasn't been rebranded there. On a Roku app, you simply look for the Northeast Streaming Sports channel. Lots of great programming there. All of my shows are there. The only one that's not live is the College Football Huddle, which is on hiatus for the moment. And then we repeat all the shows at midnight and few night owls and whatnot. So, and also we're on National Streaming Sports YouTube channel. I'll get that right eventually. And one more quick programming note: we're no longer broadcasting live to Let's Talk Sports YouTube platform. As you know, they decided to make sure that all the content, the live content, went directly through their YouTube brand, which is fine. I'll still continue to share to the Facebook page and whatnot, and I'll guest host on some of their shows. But it's an amicable parting to ways. Tanner is doing a great job over there, and it's just not the direction that I wanted to go with my show. So we'll talk more about that as we go forward. Thanks to my guest this morning, by the way, Veda Pinson the third. We talked about his dad, Veda Pinson Jr., really almost forgotten player in a way, a great player in his time, and over a 10-year period, one of the best players in the National League, if not in baseball, but overshadowed by some great players. And Veda the third's been on a advocacy to get his dad into the Baseball Hall of Fame. We talked a lot about his dad and some other stuff today. We had a lot of fun. Check that interview out, if you will. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring in Mr. Drew Erhlich. We're going to kind of look at, good morning, Drew. Good morning. Good afternoon, Drew.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Whatever works.
Yeah, I never seem to know what time of day it is. I get down here in the cave and my window's closed off because of the studio being up. And I don't even know what the hell time of day it is. So anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Don't forget thumbs up.
Thumbs up, DDH. Thank you very much. Every once in a while. Sorry, Daya. I don't want to forget you, and I have never forgotten you. So we're going to go through, Drew. It hasn't been any baseball other than the All-Star game, which I can just tell you, I did turn on for 5 minutes and saw the beer league softball uniforms and the mic'd up players and said, I can't. So,
It's more than I saw.
Now, I will have to say, before we get started, and just in all fairness, I was on Wednesday night on the National Streaming Sports Show at 6 when we were talking about it, and I didn't have a lot of nice things to say about the All-Star game. More because of players and MLB, not because of the game itself or what it should be. And Patty Blyleven, who's the ex-wife of Burt Blyleven, had commented on my page that they do donate a lot of money and proceeds from these games to worthy charities and help out people in need. So, and I don't mean to disrespect any of that. All I care about is I want a game that they care about winning as much as I care about somebody winning. That's all I care about. So if there's good things being done, and I did go back and forth with Patty a little bit and clarify my comments. I'm happy if MLB is doing something good for somebody, then God bless them. I just want the game back that I missed. So I just want
Indeed.
So you and I, as we have the last few years, did our preseason analysis and picks. And I thought we'd kind of go through the standings real quick and look at where everybody is and who we picked and how they're doing, and if we think they have any chance to finish where we thought they might, and maybe comment on some of the surprises in this division. So we'll start in American League East, which kind of the top is where we thought it would be. I mean, the Orioles are struggling there. I think the Orioles and Yankees want to put the Red Sox in this race in the worst way. And I have the Orioles, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox last. Every time I pick the Red Sox for last, they do something really good. Give me your. I don't remember because I didn't make enough comments, I guess, on yours. I know you've got yours in front of you. What were your picks here?
I was exactly the same. We matched on this division.
Well, there we go. So we're both in trouble because the Red Sox are actually playing very good. 4.5 games behind the Orioles, 3.5 behind the Yankees, who are a game behind the Orioles. And both teams are kind of in disarray at the moment. The Rays have been, I think we're where we thought they were. I had them under 84 wins, and they're on a pace to be 500 right now. And the Blue Jays are certainly probably the biggest disappointment of my mind. One of the biggest disappointments in baseball.
Yeah, we got caught flat-footed on the Blue Jays. I've been trying to push them over the line the last 3 years, and after this, I give up. On paper, they have good personnel. On the field, whole nother matter.
How is Donnie Baseball not the manager there right now? How is Tiger keeping his job? I don't get it.
You got to give him time, but yeah, he will be there if he wants it. I'm assuming since he's still in uniform, he does. So he'll get it.
Yeah. Who, Donnie you're talking about? Yes.
Donnie, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't want this job. Maybe he wants another job. I don't know.
Yeah, the White Sox.
There could be another job opening up in this division that he might be interested in at the end of the year.
Yep.
One that's closer to his heart. Iron Boone than you.
Yeah, I know.
You think I can't get Brett Boone or Bob Boone to return my messages because I rip on Aaron so bad?
I don't know. You need to work your connections, the Saberhagens and these other people, to get someone on and say, look, this guy's a nice guy. He does great interviews. You should go on.
I should be nicer to some people, I guess. I don't know. Oh, gosh. To me, this is still the Yankees and the Orioles. The Yankees got some issues. I think bigger issues than the Orioles for the long run. But I think both these teams will be active next week, which I think will bring you back. I'm going to be away next Friday. I hope the thing is the following. I didn't look for the deadline. I started to, and then we were working on your audio. Maybe it is July 31st, which is good because that Wednesday, that Friday, we can review it. Next week, I don't think I'm going to be able to go live, but maybe we'll work on something else. I think both these teams are active. I think the Red Sox will be active. Joey Cora is kind of begging management to be active.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a number of things going on here. There's a trade deadline, but you also have to look at the injury lists, because getting a player back that's been on the injury list for a while is almost like making a trade and getting a new player.
Right.
So Baltimore really doesn't have a lot there. Their losses are legitimate losses, as we know, in their entire pitching staff, both bullpen and starters. So they're going to be looking for a starter. The question is, how much do they want to give up? They're going to be active in the trade before the trade deadline. Everyone's talking about them making a play for Skubal. I don't see it. They're asking for way too much for Skubal, and I don't think Baltimore's going to want a mortgage.
No, the Yankees are after Skubal too, but again, if Spencer Jones is involved, he's not happening.
That's what they say.
Anybody else, I might talk to them about, but not Spencer Jones.
Yep. The Red Sox, you see, now there's another one of those examples. Who are they getting back? They're getting back Martin in the bullpen by the 26th, supposedly. They're getting back Cassis by the 26th at first base, and they're getting Grissom back by the end of the month. So there's 3 players that could have major impacts in what are right now weak areas.
Well,
why do they need to trade?
What's very funny is I thought they stunk when those guys were going to be playing. So,
yeah, but they're playing well. And okay, big caveat. Obviously, if someone comes back and they're not what they were expected to be, it does nothing. We'll assume that these guys have quality at bats, quality innings, and can add something.
I guess the big question here is at the deadline. Obviously, I believe the top 3 are buying. Obviously, the Rays, I think, will be they're kind of buyers and sellers at the same time. Usually, when they do something, they don't totally just unload people. The big question is going to be the Blue Jays and what the Blue Jays do with guys like Vlad and some others. The only guy I think might be safe there is Bichette.
That's funny. I would have gone the other way and said Vlad's safe and Bichette isn't. Bichette looks awful this year. Everything I've looked at says what he's doing when he's at the plate isn't different from what he's been doing other years. So that's scary. If it was an injury, if he's had bad luck, and there's ways to measure bad luck using stats you don't like, then that would be a factor. But even those statistics don't look wrong or off. So he's just having a really bad year. And actually, if you look at it, he wasn't great last year either.
Well,
his power numbers are going down. His average is going down.
Yeah.
I think he's tradable.
It's odd. He's the one guy too that I keep hearing they will not trade. They'll trade everybody else. And Vlad, by the way, they're not going to trade Vlad in the division. No way. And he softened his stance about never playing for the Yankees. I mean, he said he'd rather die than play for the Yankees. But he's the one guy that I would love to see in pinstripes. I don't think it'll ever happen.
You don't think J.D. Davis is the answer?
I do not think J.D. Davis is the answer. I love Anthony Rizzo. I don't even think he's the answer anymore. I mean, we have serious problems in Yankee land at first base, at third base, at second base, left field, starting pitching. I mean, we do have some guys coming back for the bullpen, as you talked about, but hopefully Clark Schmidt can come back at some point and help that rotation. But I mean,
he's due back supposedly August 2nd.
That'd be good because right now, it's funny because there's this one guy I think I've talked about it sometimes on the show. He pings me every once in a while from one of the Yankee groups and wants my opinion on something. I know he just wants to argue with me, no matter what I come up with. I said, he asked me this year. Well, first of all, we got this big row about it. Rondon. Rondon. No, not Rondon.
Rodon. Rendon's the guy that doesn't play anymore on the Angels.
I can't say his name. He can't pitch. So I think I'm better off than him. I went wrong there. And this year he says, where do they need help? And I tell him, I said, then starting pitching is one of the places I said they need help. He goes, I think the pitching's fine. Does it look fine now? This is 2 weeks later. Oh, gosh. Anyway.
Rays, I should comment, by the way, since we're talking about these kinds of things. Springs is coming back by the end of the month.
Yep.
Rasmussen supposedly is going to be back somewhere around there, maybe a little later, but they've already said they're only going to stick him in the bullpen. So he's not going to have any impact for the Rays on starting pitching. So if Springs comes back, then they could trade some other, maybe Eflin. I don't know.
Yeah, and I didn't have the Blue Jays. I had with a wild card, so I'm kind of screwed there. But
yeah, we'll go over those when we're done and look at our our picks for all those things.
The Rays still aren't out of it. That's just the problem, and it's part of the problem with the trading deadline. And either people don't buy because everybody's more expensive. I mean, there's inflation in baseball just like everywhere else, and when there's more buyers than sellers, prices are going to be high. And I think
when you only have 5 teams saying, okay, we're all in to sell, and everyone else is like, we're in or we think we could be in. So, I mean, definitely a seller's market.
Yeah, I don't
If
think
you
I
have anything to sell.
I don't think I came up with more than 7 potential sellers last week when I talked about this. I mean, obviously
Right.
people will sell that we don't expect, and people will buy that we don't expect, but we'll find out real quick what happens.
And the big caveat before we move on should be there's still 2 weeks left before the deadline.
A good point. A lot of things can happen, and losing streaks and winning streaks happen very quickly. Things change.
Exactly. Injuries.
Yeah. Chris wants us to know that Jackie Bradley Jr. is tearing it up in Long Island, which is just a step below the Mexican League, by the way.
Mexican League, yeah. Oh, Lord.
I think he was
good for Jackie.
He was an ex-Red Sox, right? Maybe they ought to look at him. Real quick, we'll get the birthdays out of the way. Torabella, Bill Cope, ex-Yankee, Wilton Lopez. I do not remember it all, but I was working on my fantasy team before things went to hell at work here about 2:00, and I was trying to get some things straightened out before we got on this show. We'll try to remember to get back to that right afterwards.
Yeah, mine's all set to blow up.
I think mine's done. I think. What's it? Let's see. All I ask of the Tigers is they avoid as much subtraction as possible. Well, we'll
talk about them now.
We're going to the Central right now, Chris, and the Tigers were my surprise pick this year, and they've been very streaky. I mean, they've kind of got it back going a little bit before the All-Star break, going 8-2 before the break. So the Guardians, the big surprise in this division, leading it. The Twins hanging in there now at 4.5 back. The Royals have leveled off a little, still 7 games over 500, 7 games out. The Tigers 12 games out of first place, but in the wild card hunt. And then there's the White Sox who, let's see. That's what the pace is right now. We're doing this. This is a prerequisite of this show. 20.276. They're disappointing me. 44 wins, 118 losses. They're close. They can do this.
They can do this. What was your order, by the way?
My order in this division was Twins, Detroit, Royals, Cleveland, and the White Sox. I had the White Sox under 66, by the way, which looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, this was the division. We swapped the Guardians and the Royals. I had the Royals for third and the Guardians for fourth.
Yeah. We both put the Royals over 73, I think. I think we both went over 73. I had Cleveland under 79, which is not looking very good right now because they only need 21 more wins for that. I think they can eke out 21 wins here in the rest of the season. If they don't, trouble. It's funny. The Twins people were, the people in Minnesota wanted Rocco Baldelli fired most of April and May, and they've come back very nicely here. I still like the way this team is constituted. They'll probably go to the playoffs and lose again anyway. But are the Guardians for real? I guess is the real question here. And can the Royals or the Tigers surprise us? Continue.
The Guardians are for real within their usual context. They're never awful. They're usually up there, if not the cream of the crop. They're in the crop of what is a mediocre division to begin with, usually. So that's half the problem. I think they can sustain it. They've taken, everyone talks about the Orioles staff, but these guys were hit with their staff too. Everyone forgets that Cleveland's lost some starters too. And they've been patchworking things. So, what they've been doing without a team that hits any home runs is amazing to me. It's sustainable because they're very Tampa-like in their approach. It's defense. It's situational hitting. It's, they don't use the long ball to try and bail them out like some teams who shall go nameless. Yeah, like yours.
I still have a theory that part of their success, and this is no way to demean Terry Francona, but the fact that he's no longer there and that distraction of his health, which is they've never known when it was going to hit, rise up the last couple of years. And I think that I think in a strange way that might help this team, even when the inexperienced manager, as inexperienced as you can get. I think that's helped them.
We were all concerned about that. I'm sure we weren't the only ones. But apparently they're playing very loose. This is the let's have fun group now, and they're showing it. So you got to give, Vogt credit for what he's done there. Maybe manager of the year.
Without a doubt, he's a contender for sure. I have not heard this. Chris is talking about Terry Francona talking confident he wants to be back. I thought when Terry Francona walked away, he made it pretty clear he wouldn't be back. But
that's what I thought.
Again, I think if he wanted to come back, there would be certainly people that would be very happy to take him. He's a good manager. And I hear Joe Madden's name, but listen, I've seen some interviews with Joe Madden that he makes it pretty clear he's not interested in managing in the game the way the game's being played at the moment. But
truth be told, I'm not sure Joe Madden would be a good pick at this point. The way he ended with the Cubs was not good. What he did when he moved over to the American League wasn't good. It's not. I'm not as impressed. He was the, taste du jour at the time, but I'm not. I don't believe his approach would work now.
Well, things went south pretty quick after he broke the curse in Chicago, and he'll always be beloved. I'm sure it's in some manner in Chicago, but it didn't end well, as you said. And
yep.
And I've never been a big Joe Madden fan because he's another guy who just strikes me as, is thinking he's the smartest guy in the room all the time. Like the Tony La Russa, just something always feels icky around him. I don't know.
I agree totally. Yeah. Team by team, Minnesota, they will be getting Topa and Stewart back, Brock Stewart, in their bullpen. That's going to help their bullpen, so that'll strengthen that side of it. So even if Lopez doesn't bounce back, which in theory he should be, they got the arms in the bullpen to pick him up. Lewis is coming back from injury yet again. If he could stay on the field, he'd be, a superstar. But
we always say that about Twins players, right? But him and Buxton ought to be the injury twins.
Yep. So, but now they got Miranda, who's also hitting well. So they're going to have to try to figure out how to play all these guys. But otherwise, they're pretty healthy, which is good. We had the Tigers for second. They're in fourth. So we didn't do a good job there. Mize is coming back. Carpenter is coming back. Parker Meadows is coming back. All of which should help. I can't see them trading Skubal. I really can't.
I'm shocked. I mean, I don't understand what they would be doing because I think if they have some control over him for 2 more years, I think, too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
It would be a strange move for a team that thinks it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
To dump your Cy Young contending pitcher.
Yep. Flaherty, I think, is a definite possibility.
Absolutely.
That Flaherty would be a really good fit for the Dodgers. Really good fit. They don't need arms past this year. They got the arms, but they need help right now for the rest of this year. And there's a few other teams in that position. I don't think Flaherty is a good move for Baltimore because, again, he is going to be a free agent. So they don't need a rental at this point. They need someone, especially since they could lose Burns. They really need someone to stock that bullpen, and I think it's going to be someone that's not going to be a free agent. I'd be shocked if they do that trade, unless they go for Skubal and decimate their minors. I don't see it happening.
Well, I'm going to take the Twins to overtake the Guardians here myself. I think the Twins will. I think they'll have the firepower enough to get past this team. I do think the Guardians will make the playoffs. Now,
I'm not going to disagree with that. The only thing the Guardians have coming back is Henches. Anyone else is just whoever they have on the team now. So there's not going to be any help coming.
Moving to the West for the moment, unless you got something else. I'm sorry, do you have something else to add there?
No, just Kansas City is,
Oh, yes.
Who knows? Who knows?
Those are your boys with Seth Lugo and groups who I berated their offseason.
I had them for third. They're in third, so I get props for that. That's about it.
Well, that's a good pick.
They just made a trade. Actually, they're one of the few that have made a trade so far. They took Hunter Harvey from the Nationals to bolster the bullpen, and also released Anderson, who will hook on with somebody. So that's a help. Is it going to make a difference? No. They just need their hitters to hit for a change, and that's not going to happen. I still think we may not. Well, the Detroit pick at second is problematic, but I still think the Minnesota and the Royals picks will be okay.
The the Tigers might find a way to get into the wild card chase, but I don't think so. I think
they need someone else to collapse.
Because I don't expect them to be big buyers here at the or sellers. I think they'll make some small moves, but and they do need somebody would have to collapse, as you said, or maybe more than one team. Out west, I've said constantly since April that the Rangers, who are still have made a little run here, they're still 4 games under 500, but they moved within 5 games of first place. And the Mariners have really made a huge mistake when they did not just choke out the Astros when they had very little breath left in them. And the Astros have fought back nicely here to get to within a game of first place. Lost a couple going into the break, but still 4 games over 500, which I think is their high water mark of the year. Considering where they were, I think it's remarkable that they got to the break 1 game out of first place and 4 games over 500. And this team is very, very resilient. I like the Astros. I still like the Astros. Did I pick the Astros? I don't know if I did.
You did.
I think I did. I'd be shocked.
In fact, except for the switch at the top, which is only 1 game separating them right now, we had this division picked.
Yeah. And I had the Rangers under 88, which they're on a pace to be under 88 right now for sure, because they're under 500 at the moment. Rangers, there's still talent. Everybody's underperformed. All the young kids they wanted to do well have underperformed. The pitchers, again, they got off to a decent start, but, and they got guys, theoretically, I mean, I'm not sure what Scherzer had a decent start, but I don't know how he's done overall since he's come back. You can't count on DeGrom for anything in my mind in the second half. I just don't think this team, I didn't like this team that much last year, the way they were put together, and they put together a nice run to win the World Series. Congratulations. But it's not easy repeating, and we're seeing it firsthand right here.
Yep. There, everyone's. Let me talk about who they have coming back before we get into whether they're going to trade.
A lot of them.
They got Dunning coming back by the 19th. Scherzer's already there. Tyler Mahle is supposed to come back by August 2nd. DeGrom is supposed to come back by August 5th. And Jung is supposed to come back by the 22nd of this month. And Carter's supposed to come back by the 29th of this month. So that's a lot of help coming. Well, now, whether the pitchers are going to be any good is a whole nother matter.
Or Carter seriously underperformed before he got hurt. So, that's been a big problem for this team. Young coming back would be nice. That's probably the biggest impact, I think, is getting him back at third base. And if any of those pitchers perform, these guys can obviously, they're only 5 games out. They can get back in this, or stay in this race. But they do need pitching. And I've never been in love with, from the day they signed DeGrom, I said it was a mistake. I mean, they won a World Series. It wasn't necessarily because of him, but, I said that contract would hurt you at some point. And they're going to be hamstrung payroll-wise with what they're looking at. The moves they can make, I think they're restricted. What they can do now and maybe even going forward. So,
well, Scherzer, I think, is going to be a free agent, right?
Scherzer is, yes.
Yeah. DeGrom is not, but keep in mind that for both of those guys, the Mets are still paying the majority of their salary this year.
True.
So they're not as handcuffed as you might think. They will be next year with DeGrom because they'll pay him a fortune to pitch, if he's lucky, 4 innings a game. They'll be great innings, but it'll be 4 innings until he gets hurt again. The pitching is still going to be a problem here. And, when you're relying on guys in their 40s and guys that have just come back from injury like Mahle, now it's all on your bullpen. So the big people they talk about Rangers trading are like Yates and Robertson, who've had great comebacks in the bullpen. Well, you trade those guys, now you got a problem. Because when the starters don't go and you got nobody in the bullpen, what are you going to do?
They're going to have to hit their way to this division title for sure. And on the other side, the Mariners are going to pitch their way. I like their staff. I really like the Mariners pitching staff. They don't. Nobody stands out as like just the next Sandy Koufax or even Clayton Kershaw or anybody like that. But they're all solid major league starters. The starting staff I love. The bullpen has its moments, but there's just not enough juice in that lineup. They don't seem to score runs on a consistent basis, and that's why they kind of have been very inconsistent as well. Now they've gone into the break with a 3-game losing streak. So,
yeah, they're building around Rodriguez, which is fine, but you have to build around Rodriguez.
Yeah.
You can't just ask him to do everything. He's gotten a little warmer lately, but where's the rest of the team? It's not good. It's not good. You can't rely. We have had teams that have worked on defense and pitching and tried to make it that way, but you're talking about overcoming a Houston Astros team that has both. So I can't see them holding on to it.
Yeah.
Without moves, I should say.
I see no reason to back off my original pick of Astros winning and Seattle finishing second and getting a wild card in this race here.
Yep, I agree.
And not making the playoffs. I still stick with the Rangers not making the playoffs.
Yep.
But they're not replaced by the teams that I thought they would be, the Tigers and the Blue Jays. It'll probably be the Guardians and maybe the Royals or somebody, right? So.
Yep. Let's before we move on to the NL East, let's talk about players Houston has coming back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, everyone's talking about Houston being a big buyer, but Verlander's back supposedly this month by the 26th. McCullers is supposed to be back by August 2nd, so within a week. Garcia is supposed to be back by the middle of August, and Tucker's going to be back by the end of this month. So again, here's players that are on your roster not playing. They come back. It's just like making a trade and getting good players.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've said this a while. They're the team that if the Blue Jays sell and Vlad is going to go, watch out for the Astros in that. He's a perfect fit for that team.
That's their one hole is first base.
Yep, perfect fit. Jose Abreu, is he playing in Mexican League yet? Tearing it up?
No, I think he's in the Long Island League with.
Is he in Long Island? Chris, get on that. I want to know where Jose Abreu is and what his numbers are. What's Chris got here for me? Because we're going to the National League. For some Friday talk, Tommy Green was once quoted since we're heading to Philadelphia right now, the fans of Philadelphia, I think the fans here grew up around the nuclear facility. You guys from Canada are meaner than I thought, Chris. I thought you were nice. At this point in the season, who's Brandon Belt been treated like a diseased leper?
Because he can't hit anymore.
He can't play anymore.
That pretty much takes care of the question.
Yeah. Somebody will take it. He's a guy who's probably going to get traded at the deadline, and somebody will take a chance that he's got a little pop left in his bat for the track run. But I think Brandon Belt's probably seen the last.
Right up there with Joey Votto.
Joey Gallo. Oh, Joey. Hey, wait, is Votto still in the Toronto system? Did he play in the minors?
No, he's been injured this whole time.
Oh, he's been injured the whole time? Okay. So, not much in helping anybody in the second half.
No.
Moving to the National League, we knew the Phillies were good. We didn't know they were this good, or maybe the Braves being so banged up has helped them, of course, build that 8.5 game lead. But hell, the Braves aren't terrible at 9 games over compared to a lot of teams. And the Phillies, though, I think are even better than I thought they were. They seem to have pretty much everything that you need. Harper's really done well defensively, even at first base, I think, which has helped them. Shortstop, help me out. Trey Turner is certainly made people forget his horrendous start last year, I think, for the most part. Baum has come into his own and been a great player. And certainly that pitching staff has been very good. There's nobody's catching this team in the East. The question is going to be, do the Braves hold on to a wild card? Because I don't think that's a given at this point. I thought it was, but the injuries just keep piling up and some other factors. I don't think it's a given they make the playoffs, but right now I think they've got a 4-game cushion or so, but maybe more than that. I don't have it in front of me. Where's the wild card here? In any event, they're not going to make a run that they made. Yeah, they got a 4-game cushion right now in the wild card. Phillies are the best team in baseball right now, in my mind. When you look at the Yankees and Orioles struggles over the last month, the big surprise to me is the Mets, with the run they went on here the last month or so, moving themselves into right as we speak today, the last wild card spot. Nationals probably played better than I thought they would up until recently. They've started to fall back a bit. And the Marlins, the Marlins are the Marlins, and they're always going to be bad. And again, I'm always happy when the Phillies do well because I'm a big Rob Thompson fan, and he should have been the manager of the Yankees several years ago when they hired that guy in the Boone family.
Can't do anything about that, but interesting note about the Phillies, if you think about it. Their outfield sucks. I mean, I never thought Castellanos was any good. He's never hit for the power they thought he would. He can't field. And their center fielders are always all field and no hit. Marsh is decent as long as it's a right-handed pitcher. If you stick in a left-hander,
he's had some injury issues as well too.
Yeah. So it's their infield and their pitching that has been carrying them, which it's not a bad combination. But if they had outfielders that could actually do something, holy crap, this team would be unstoppable.
So does this team look for an outfielder at the trade deadline? I mean, it's okay to have a bad outfield that doesn't hit, but they ought to be able to field. That could come back and bite you at the end of the, in a big spot in the playoffs.
Big time. And they keep using center fielders that, Rojas or Peixe, who can cover it like a carpet, but they are totally impotent at the plate.
Yeah.
So, which is the, antithesis of Schwarber, if you will, who, can't field for anything. And, we know what we get with Schwarber. So, if I think it would make sense for them to go looking for an outfielder, probably a rental if they can. That would make the most sense to me.
And did the Braves make moves? Because, again, they've managed to keep their head above water here with all everybody's, as you said, I think everybody's had pitching injuries. There's not a team in baseball, I don't think, that hasn't been affected by pitching injuries, but the injuries have been really pervasive on the Braves. And do they think they have enough that they want to go all in to try to win this year, or do you punt and just wait for next year and play it out the best you can?
The Braves are, with all their injuries and Strider being the most important one.
Yeah,
their starting staff. If you look at Fried, Sale, Lopez, who's been a superstar, unexpected to everybody, that's not a bad rotation. And their bullpen is always decent. And they're even getting Tyler Matzik back in a few days. So it's not the arms that are the issue. It's their hitters are underperforming. And in big ways. Olsen's underperforming. Murphy's been hurt and underperforms. Riley had his usual cold start. Albies. These guys are underperforming. And there's nothing you can do. There's no replacement you're going to get that's better than these guys. They just need to figure out why they're underperforming. If they get back up, it's not even going to be close. I think they can overcome the Phillies. They're more complete. And Harris is coming back. I think I said that.
Yeah, hopefully. I got a team full. I got an all-star team of DL candidate from my teams for
You
crying out
do.
loud. Jesus.
Coming back the end of the month, supposedly.
Hopefully all of them will. Any bigger? I mean, I'm shocked at Chris Sale's performance here. I mean, I thought he was pretty much done. He pitched. He had a handful of really good starts last year, but mostly had gotten knocked around for the last 4 years. And he's turned around. He was an all-star. I don't think he pitched. Right? Did he back out of that game? I don't remember.
He didn't pitch. I don't think.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But he's been a boon to this team. Without him, they may be fighting to be over 500 right now if he wasn't in this rotation. So,
yep, I got to give their people props for picking him up. Long term, will it pay off? We don't know what Grissom's going to be if he can stop being injured, but certainly for this year, they made out on that trade.
Yeah, I think long term, I think the Red Sox still win this trade, but because I think Grissom can be a good player. I was a little surprised the Braves gave up on him so quickly, but they felt they needed an arm. They saw something in Sale that I didn't, so that's why they get paid. I don't. The Mets, who I know aren't your team, but are.
They were historically my team.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I've played great for the last month. They've got themselves, we just said, back in the wild card race. In fact, in the wild card, if we start today, which it doesn't, by the way, there's still a lot of baseball to be played. Can the Mets go out and get what they need to stay in this race? The pitching has pitched better than expected, but can we expect that to continue? Vientos has played. I probably said his name wrong as well. He's played pretty well in his opportunities. Batty has not necessarily. Alvarez has played pretty well. Now they're kind of locked into keeping Alonso and not moving him at the trade deadline where they are, which is maybe the bad thing for the long run. But what do the Mets do here? Do they go all after this?
If they do, it's going to be a rental. They are not in a mode to spend an awful lot, and quite frankly, they went through a lot with their sell-off last year to replenish their minor league system. I don't see them raping it in order to try to make a move this year. They weren't even supposed to contend this year. They were supposed to be passable enough so that fans come in and give the money, and then they were going to make a big push for next year. So, they got Senga coming back, so that'll help that. These guys are the antithesis of the Braves. Here, it's their pitching that has not been doing all that great. Their hitters have been doing great. Nemo's has come back well.
Nemo and Lindor both got off to bad starts and have had. I think they were legitimate all-star candidates in my mind.
Yep.
The one big hole in that lineup has been McNeil, and that may be a place they want to address. Maybe they want to make a trade for Glaber, and maybe in Queens is better than the Bronx.
Less pressure, maybe, but otherwise, no. But I think they've already. By the way, there have been 3 trades made already, and the Mets were involved in one of them. They got a reliever. Again, we're not talking major moves here. Although Hunter Harvey would have been better than Matone. But they're looking to tweak things, and they're hoping that pitchers come back healthy enough that they can make it by and make it God. Maybe dying. They're really not. So I don't see that being big players.
For the first time, we got a glitch in your audio.
Oh, great.
It might have just gone away though at the end of that.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll clear it.
We should probably say prediction-wise.
Prediction-wise, yes. I think Braves and Phillies second, which is not it's gonna be reversed, obviously. Somehow I had the Marlins third. I'm not sure what I was drinking that night, but the Mets fourth and the Nationals.
Yeah, you and I had switched the Marlins with the Mets. I had the Mets third. Yep. And the Marlins. Actually, I had them. I had the Marlins for fourth.
Not only I think the Marlins were third, I had them over 77.5. Yikes! Jeez.
Yeah, I had him. At or below there. So okay, I'll take that.
Moving to the center real quick.
Nationals will be interesting, by the way. The Nationals are going to keep selling, but they're only going to sell their future free agents.
So I think they've got
going.
Yeah, Finnegan will probably fit somewhere, I would think, and a few other guys without having to really hurt what they're building for the future. This team's going to be back in contention in another year or two, I think.
Maybe not. Yeah, they need a few more pitchers. They're sort of like the Orioles. Most of the strength in the minors is position players, and you're starting to see some of them now. Woods just came up. I think you'll see Dylan Cruz come up, another outfielder. So they got some players they can move. But again, they'll be rentals, so they'll be active.
Unlike the Marlins, the light at the end of the tunnel is not an oncoming train for the Nationals. So
I mean, they're going to sell too. There's talk about selling Jazz off. Luzardo, they were all set to sell off, but he can't because he's now injured until the end of August.
There's a lot of talk in New York that the Yankees are interested in Jazz and Tanner as a combination. It's going to be a matter of if they have to overpay to get them. Anybody wants Spencer Jones can stop talking to the Yankees now, but there's some other value in that the Marlins, and they've been trade partners in the past, which I think means something as well.
They have. It's usually their pitching, which everyone focuses on, but for some reason their pitching has been awful this year, which is ironic. And when you don't have that, based on everything else they have, you're in trouble.
Listen, I'd love to see Chisholm come north, and play second base for the Yankees, and Tanner in that bullpen would be a nice addition.
And might be another Royce Lewis with all the injuries.
Could be. Real quick, just because CA came in late, he got a comment about the Rangers and Astros. It is a big series starting today for sure. We talked about the Rangers and the West already, CA, but I don't know if they'll be selling or not. They could be. I mean, they could be. The Rangers are a team that might be doing both. They might be selling and buying at the same time. When I say that, I mean selling without really giving up on the season. So keep an eye on them. The Rangers have never done what they thought they should do. There were times like 2 years ago when they had Martin Perez having a career year. I said, trade him and then negotiate with him as a free agent. I do not understand why teams don't do this. More teams don't do it. You do. So anyway, yes. Rangers have gotten themselves, or they've been helped back into the race as much as themselves getting themselves back in by the Mariners not being able to run away.
Okay, NL Central. We botched this one up badly.
Yeah, we. Let me see. I think I might have crossed out the whole entire thing. So, where am I? Oh, there it is. I had the Cardinals winning. Anyway, let's look and see who's in first. The Brewers have surprised everybody, especially me. But a little bit of a bad stretch going into the All-Star break. Could have come faster for them. 3-7 going in. Still 13 games over, 4.5 ahead of the Cardinals, who have rebounded after a poor start. The Pirates, really, they don't seem to go away. They will. I'm pretty sure they will eventually, just because of the Pirates. Your favorite here, one of your favorites here, the Reds have been really up and down. 8 games back, but still in that wild card race. And lots of talent, lots of young talent there for that team to be excited about the second half. And the Cubs, as you said, the Brewer fans have got to be laughing to the ballpark every night. In last place while they're in first. And just to look at our picks real quick, I had the Cardinals first, so that's not terrible. I did have the Cubs second.
You had the Cardinals first? I thought you had Cardinals second.
I got the Cards first. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, you're right. I looks like I made a change and said 1-2. So I had the Cubs 1, right? I had them listed that way. Then I must have made a change because I got 1 next to the Cubs. So I had the Cubs first. So that's horrible. Cards second, which is good. I actually have Pittsburgh third and over 75. So not too bad there. And the Reds, I thought would struggle, and they are. And where I really blew it was Milwaukee in last place, under 76. So,
yeah, I we were the same, except I had the Reds for second and switched them with the Cardinals, who I had fourth.
Right. So
otherwise,
not a ton to go about here. The Brewers a big surprise, and they've done it more with hitting than pitching, which is unusual for them as well. I think the Cardinals still have a legitimate shot here. I know you like to focus on run differential, and they have one of the worst of any contending team right now at minus 38. But the Diamondbacks made it to the World Series with a negative run differential last year, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Exception rather than the rule, yes.
Agreed. Listen, I think the Cardinals – I'm still going to say the Cardinals win this division. The Brewers will make it to the playoffs. And I think the rest of them are probably – they'll fight for the third spot, which a lot of teams are going to be fighting for here tonight.
The Central divisions historically have been mediocre and well fought because of the mediocrity. And that hasn't changed, particularly in this version. Everyone's close. The entire division is within, I think, 3 games of a wild card or winning, like the Brewers. So, I mean, it's a little ridiculous at this point. You can't count anyone out. Let's take a look at who's coming back, which to some degree also could affect who's going to be trading.
Yep.
The Cubs have Alzolay coming back and Merriweather. So basically their big strengths coming back are going to be their bullpen. And this assumes everyone that comes back is decent.
Right.
The Reds are going to get Pagan back for their bullpen. Friedel, who's been injured for a long time, back before the end of this month for the outfield. And McLean is going to actually come back, but it's not going to be for another month.
Oh. I can't make it another month without him. Jesus.
No. By then, it's certainly as far as making trade decisions. But he is coming back, which is, that's something. If they're in it, that's a good thing.
Well, that would be a big bump if he comes back and can play to his standards. Yes.
If they're in it.
Right.
Jared Jones is going to come back. Their other rookie, everyone forgets they have 2 rookie pitchers. But Jared Jones, who was decent, I mean, nobody schemes, but he's going to come back by the end of this month. Cardinals really don't have anyone coming back except Edman and Matz, which won't make a difference. I'm disagreeing with you. I think their skid starting last year and into this year is going to continue. Doesn't mean they don't have pieces, but I don't see their pitchers holding up. And the issue is your corners, your big corners, your expensive corners are doing very poorly this year.
Yeah, right.
Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Yeah, Goldschmidt's been not good at all.
Yep. Now, the Brewers have Joe Ross coming back, who's never been great, but at least it's an arm. And DL Hall, who they had traded Burns for originally as a starting pitcher, he's going to be coming back at the end of the month. And, of course, the biggest one is going to be Devin Williams is coming back before the end of the month. Not that their bullpen has been bad. It's held up pretty well without him, but it's going to be – if he's any good, that's always the caveat, but if he's any good, it's going to be a superlative bullpen, which is going to make them tough to overcome.
And make them dangerous in the playoffs, too, as well. You get that kind of arm back into your bullpen come playoff time, that can make a huge difference for sure.
Yep. I think, we both had the Pirates for third. I don't think that's unreasonable. They're getting there. They need more position players to make it work. Their pitching, obviously, is working out, the ones they brought in. The Cubs, who the hell knows? I mean, they could get on a hot streak with their personnel at any time. The personnel's not bad. The bullpen's not great. Bullpen's been awful. That's their biggest weak spot. So that's going to be a problem. The Reds could get hot at any time. Their starters are decent. Lodolo, when he comes back healthy, is decent. This division could be anybody's. And any one of them could skitter into the wild card if the Mets fold.
Yeah. Well, everybody's in the wild card here, except 2 teams in the National League for sure. So.
Yep.
Out west, the Dodgers have showing some chinks in the armor for the last month or so. 3-7 going into the break. Still a 7-game lead over the resurgent a little bit. The Diamondbacks have really scuffled along this first half after the World Series appearance last year, but have played better of late. I think, and the Padres, they're still 7 games back. Really a tie, I guess, with the Diamondbacks. It's a difference in number of games played.
How did you have this predicted?
I had the Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, Padres, and of course the Rockies, which could still happen. The Giants are only 2 games behind the Diamondbacks right now, so that again also very up and down the Giants all year long. Never really able to get anything going. They get close to 500 a game over, and then they go on a losing streak, which all these teams have done. The Diamondbacks have done it. The Padres have been doing it like for 2 years, 3 years. And the Rockies are just the Rockies. These teams will all be buyers, except for the Rockies, I would think, to one extent or another. The Giants, maybe not, depending on what they think their realistic chances are here. But there's no way the Padres are not going to be in this to win it, or they're probably going to blow things up at the end of this year. I mean, they started to last year with Soto going, but they may make some real changes if they don't get a playoff run out of it.
Yeah. And as we've done before, by the way, I had the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, who they're actually tied with, so we can cheat on that, and the Giants and the Rockies. So I'm pretty much on so far, but that could change at any minute. Let's take a look at who's coming back. The Giants, interestingly, have Robbie Ray coming back in a week.
Great point.
And they've got Cobb, who, he's nothing to jump up and down about, but it's an arm, and their 4 and 5 have been not good this year. So maybe Alex Cobb can help them. So that's no small thing. Their hitters have been doing okay. I mean, they're not lighting the world on fire, but they don't suck. So those could be help. San Diego, Darvish is supposed to come back second week of August, and Musgrove's supposed to come back first week of August. Tatis is supposed to come back in a week. Those are big additions and can affect whether they want to move anybody. Keep in mind, this team's been basically carried by Profar, which I don't think anybody expected. I think Arizona may be in the biggest trouble. The only ones they got coming back short of any moves are Eduardo Rodriguez, yay, the second week of August, and Jordan Montgomery, yay, is coming back in about a week. So, that's not going to help them. Now let's talk about the Dodgers, because besides being in the lead and doing a good job, let's take a look at who they get. Wait till you hear this list of who's going to be coming back.
There's a lot of big players there.
And you're like, okay, well, they need to make moves. Well, maybe not. Pitching staff. Yamamoto's going to come back, although he's got another month to go. But Kershaw is supposed to be back this week. Buehler is expected back by the end of the month. They still got to see how he's doing. In the bullpen, Brazier and Kelly and Gratterall is coming back. Everyone forgets that Gratterall hasn't been pitching in their bullpen all year. So those guys are coming back. And he's by the end of the month. You got Betts is supposed to come back at the end of the month. Muncy is supposed to come back in the middle of August. And Hayward's coming back. It was good field. I mean, he's not going to hit much, but again, it's support. So that's a hell of a list of bodies coming back. So you have to be careful about making moves to try to fill holes when those holes could be filled later anyway. So I'm curious to see how far in they actually go with the moves, knowing what they've got coming. I mean, Kershaw's look good in the minors. So, I mean, I don't think starting pitching is going to be an issue.
But Kershaw is not a definite to when he comes back. He could go down at any point in time too. At this point in his career too. So
the advantage with Kershaw is that he hasn't pitched for half a season 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
So when he comes back,
if I'm the Dodgers, I think I got the more of a luxury. Well, the Phillies have the biggest luxury here, right? if you're waiting for guys to come back, you can wait and not make moves necessarily to fill spots because they're not getting caught no matter what. I don't think the Dodgers are getting caught by the Diamondbacks or by the Padres or by the Giants. Those teams are fighting with each other for a wild card berth. They're going to make moves. The Dodgers can afford to sit back and wait for these guys. But they're the Dodgers, too, and they're going to bring somebody in here. You know that. So.
Yeah.
They already
probably for the
Vizio, so they already made a big trade.
Right. Yeah. Big trade.
Caven did, yeah.
I don't think it's going to change much. I think actually Arizona's going to sink. They haven't made enough improvements over last year, and last year they were lucky for them to stay. The Giants, I think, may move up a little. Padres, I think, will float about where they are. I don't think that's going to change much.
I'll stick with my Dodgers and Giants 1-2 pick, and the Giants making the playoffs. The only thing I'm going to change in the playoffs, so I got a couple teams in and out, but the American League ALCS, I still got the Orioles and the Astros, and I'm going to stick with the Orioles, make it to the World Series. I've still got the Dodgers in the ALCS. The Braves, I'm going to make a move and say they're not going to make it. I'll put the Phillies there. Phillies and Dodgers. And I may say now Orioles Phillies and not Orioles Dodgers if I'm going to adjust my picks at the midway point.
Yeah, wild cards. I had the Jays, the Mariners, and the Rangers, so two of those are in deep trouble. National wild card, I had the Phillies, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks, which are all still in play. As is everybody. The problem is I had the Braves over the Orioles, so we'll have to see how that works out. Probably not good.
You want to make a change? You can make a change at this point.
No. I mean, these are preseason predictions. The real fun is in seeing.
Well, no, I'm not
ahead of time.
No. My preseason picks are still my preseason picks, right? I get that.
As who I pick
what I'm
now?
going to say is, if I had to make a change today, I would say the Orioles meet the Phillies in the World Series. That's the one real big change I would make.
I would probably change the Braves to the Dodgers at this point.
There you go.
I still think they're going to come back with all their guys coming back. I think the Dodgers will make it.
That's interesting because I dropped the Dodgers out of my World Series pick. That's interesting. So,
I know. Honors. You want to go through the honors that we picked? Oh, this is ugly.
Yeah, let's do that quickly. We're a little bit over. We can go a few more minutes to go through this. Let's start with MVP. I think you had Soto. You're still in play, although Judge is going to absolutely. Judge stays healthy. He's going to walk away with that.
Probably.
I had J-Rod, so that's not going to happen.
I had Acuna, so wasn't there? What was it? The football video game where if you were on the cover of it, you were going
to.
Okay.
Well,
then these guys, when we do our preseason picks, they need to listen because if I pick them, they need to immediately call their doctor because I've got a couple of guys I picked in Acuna and Strider that got injured and they're out. They're gone. So
I may still have a chance here in the NL MVP. I've got Freeman. Freeman could make a run here at the award, I suppose. Unlikely, but he could make a run, I think. Cy Young, I had Wheeler, who maybe. American League Cy Young, I had Scoble, who I still think is a good pick.
No, you hit that one. I went out on a limb and thought Grayson Rodriguez was going to another year.
Right.
He's doing okay, actually. Started terribly. He's been pitching well since April, but not going to make it.
What else we got here?
Manager.
Manager of the year. You had – I can't read my writing here.
We both had A.J. Hinch in the AL because we love the Tigers.
They will have to make a big run for him to win that. I think Vogt's going to win that, obviously. I think if the season ends today, it doesn't, but you got to fold up bad to probably lose that. In the National League,
you had Melvin and I had Counsell.
Yep.
Which both are no.
Also can't just squeak into the playoffs and get the manager of the year. That's for sure. Not making $7.5 million a year. So
nope.
I would say Melvin still got a shot though. Rookie of the year. You had
Langford.
Langford from Texas, and I had Carter, which he stinks even worse than Langford. There for me. The National
And we
League.
both had Chorio, which
Oh gosh,
it's going to be Skeens or it's going to be Merrill, I think.
Yeah, Merrill's played very well, actually. A little under the radar, a little bit under the radar. Skeens that kid is just phenomenal.
I will take points, by the way. He's on my fantasy team. I took him as an NA as early as I could.
Good job.
I've had him ever since.
Good job. That's a very good job by you. Interesting signing bonuses, low end. I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, they've got guidelines for these bonuses now anyway.
You don't have to stick to them, but they're guidelines.
Right. And Joey Votto's been bumped to AAA, so he's on the disabled list in AAA, which is, I guess, a step up from AA, AAA disabled list. Looks like a sign that Turner could be on the move as the Jays play the season.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I would say Justin Turner is definitely going to be playing somewhere else a month or a few weeks from now. So.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah, we forgot that one.
This is not good on a number of levels.
You cannot read
I have a much better shot for one of them than you, but that's not saying much. American League, you had, mine was Polanco because I thought Seattle was going to get something from him. He's been injured, and no.
Yeah.
And yours was Rizzo.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
That's why I can't read it. I scribbled it so I wouldn't be able to read it later.
That's very ugly. NL, you had Bueller coming back, which isn't going to happen as far as
not going to be enough. You won't have enough.
I had O'Neill Cruz, so that's possible.
That's possible.
Not great, but possible.
No. Yeah, Bueller you would have had to stay. But I think if he, with his first time he came back, if he'd been able to pitch efficiently and not gotten hurt again, he might have had a shot.
Right.
Now that the second stint and a third one probably coming down the road. Just take a quick look since I like to look at the schedule and who's starting off with here. Let me get the schedule up here. See, I already talked about the Rangers and Astros in a big series getting started this weekend, and who's pitching for them since it's not going to be in my. Oh, they're not playing this weekend. What the hell's he talking about? Seattle's playing Houston, even bigger. Hunter Brown against Luis Castillo tonight. That's a really good weekend series. Arizona to Chicago, important in the wild card race. Nelson and Steele. Steele's a guy too that hasn't really stepped up for the Cubs this year. Philly and
no, he actually has. Steele's been pitching great the last month and a half.
Has he? I probably got situated in the negative for him early in the season.
Oh, he sucked in the beginning.
Yeah. Philadelphia plays Pittsburgh. It'll be Nola against Perez. The Reds at the Nationals. Frankie Montas. Gotta love those ex-Yankees. All these guys can't come to New York and pitch. None of them. Patrick Corbin. I say this every time. Every father with a young kid, teach him to be left-handed. I'm telling you, he doesn't have to be any good, and he can pitch in the majors forever.
So much money for nothing.
Oh my God! I just don't get it. Tampa Bay will be at the Yankees.
That's a big series. This is going to probably knock the Rays into deciding whether they sell.
Yeah. Eflin and Cole tonight. The Tigers at the Blue Jays. Flaherty and Bassett. Bassett, another guy who could be on the move come trade deadline, I would think. The Mets and the Marlins. The Mets can continue to make some hay, maybe, but they do face Edward Cabrera, who I like a lot if he can stay healthy, this kid. And, of course, they'll put him on the innings limit and whatever. Manea will pitch against him tonight, that opener. The Padres and the team formerly known as the Indians, Waldron and Bibby. The Bibby. I said that. Cardinals at the Braves. Sonny Gray against Swellenbach. Like such a good name. The Orioles hit the Rangers. Kind of a big series in a way. Burns and Evaldi kick it off tonight. The White Sox against the Royals. Flexen against Waka. Another guy, all these guys the Royals signed. I'm like, how can they do anything with this? I was wrong so far. Giants at the Rockies. Harrison against Quantrill. The Angels go against the A's. Undecided.
That's a biggie, huh?
Days.
Who's going to be in the stands for that?
Well, this is the broken windshield series, by the way. You know the broken windshield story where you have 2 tickets on your windshield. You forget them, you lock them in your car, you come back, your windshield's broken, you got 4. So that's a Pete Excel most. I love that. The Red Sox go to the Dodgers, an interesting series. Pivetta against Stone. You know, the Dodgers do find these guys freaking under rocks. That's where these pitchers are. Astros will play Seattle, as we mentioned. That big series right there with the Astros only a game behind them right now. So sets up as to be exciting. 60 games, 60-plus games, I guess we got left, right? Something like that.
Yep. Yeah, everyone always thinks the All-Star game is the halfway point.
Yeah.
It's way beyond the halfway point.
Yeah. But it's a good week to kind of catch up on things because there's no baseball for the, real baseball for the 5 days before it to kind of get into. Any other big stories going on before we go? It's getting a little late, but I didn't.
No, the trade deadline is going to be the big deal.
Yeah.
And they only have 2 weeks for it. So it's going to get hectic. But again, like the Houston series with Seattle and a few of the other series where they're not head-to-head, but they could knock someone out of the playoff chase. Those are going to define – everyone talks about the 2 weeks. It's really this week is the big week because once they get an idea, they're going to say, okay, we need to sell or we need to buy. And again, they only have 2 weeks. There's nothing after that. There's no making trades after like they used to for other reasons, waivers and all that. This is it. So they got 2 weeks to decide what they're going to do and how many people are going to move. And it's good. I'm going to say after about Wednesday or Thursday next week, it's going to become fast and furious to keep track of.
Agreed. And we'll regroup in 2 weeks to kind of look at how all the fallout is. How's that?
That works. I appreciate that.
All right. Drew, I appreciate you joining me today. And, guys, we'll see you. I appreciate all you guys joining us, too. And, by the way, Chris is right. Just before we go, Votto is starting in AAA after his injury rehab of the last year and a half.
I'm glad you got the sound right, too. This is thrilling right here.
We only had one.
Take a screenshot of what you did so we can keep it this way.
Yeah, we only had one little glitch. I don't know what happened. Guys, I'll see you Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. Have a great weekend and enjoy the nice, refreshing weather here in the Northeast. I hope it's that way where you are, too. Have a good weekend, guys. Yeah, well, that was good.
That was fun. Thank you again. Always appreciate being on with you.
We always say we're going to do this midseason thing, and then we never do it. So I'm glad we did it. You know what? It isn't quite, as we went through it, it wasn't as awful as I thought.
Our predictions, you mean?
We all got some stuff still in play. I mean, because everybody's in play except the really bad teams.
Yeah.
We got
Depends on the division.
We had a couple real stinkers in there, but whatever. All right, we'll go put another fire out at work here. Jesus Christ. Friday afternoons. I love fires on Friday afternoons because I like to be done at 2:00, and it happens like once a year. So.
Once a year? That's it?
I swear I do the show and then I go back to work almost every Friday. Something's happened every Friday.
Oh, you mean once a year that you don't have a problem?
Yeah, once a year I don't.
Okay.
Once a year
that makes more sense.
Finish up at 2:00 like I plan to.
Well, they always save the problems for Friday just so that you have to do everything at the last minute before the weekend.
I swear to God they do. And I got some guy who's actually it's just something. Anyway. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And
if you're ever out doing your golf thing or whatever and find yourself, give me a call and I'll meet you for whatever, Wild Wings or whatever.
Absolutely. I will do that.
Okay.
I'm still trying to decide if I'm playing golf tomorrow or not. I think I am. I got to check with the guys. I haven't really heard from them. So hopefully,
weather's going to be great. Hopefully you do.
I hope somebody got a tee time because I did. So, all right. I'll talk to you later.
You got it. Good luck.
Bye-bye. So, where's John? What's the deal, John?
Hey, Keith.
Hi.
This guy's crazy, man.
I'm just catching up. So let me catch up on you.
All right.
So
Yeah, explain. Yeah, man.
He says he's not selling bullshit. He's not. What's he doing to 50 people? What's he charging them for?
Yeah, for his course, he says. I said, that's why I train people. I charge them $4.99 for a training course. That's what he said.
It said, did you show him the thing that you had?
Yeah, I said, that's what I said. He goes, that's not supposed to be like that. I'll take it right down, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I won't add anybody else on. He goes, if you let me keep it on, I won't add nobody on or anything like that. I'm like, I still talked to my boss. I said, this is a violation of what, our policy. You're not supposed to be doing that.
And we can't track unless we check this thing every day. We can't track whether he's adding people or not. And now that he's maxed out, it's even harder.
It's almost like crying on the phone. Literally, I was like, "Come on, man!"
I mean, didn't this woman say he charged her to get access to business?
No, she was going to charge for a course. She didn't pay him anything.
She didn't pay him anything.
She didn't. I asked her. She said that he does a $4.99 course to teach people how to bid, the whole thing. And that's what he says he does. And I said, "Oh, okay. You can't say you can't have people pay you to access our site." He goes, no. He goes, I'm not doing that. I said, that's what it looks like, And I said, that's not. You can't do that. And I said, he goes, well, I won't add anybody else on. I promise. And I won't. I don't want to. I got people on there. I just want to train them. And that's it. And I said, I'll see what I can do.
Well, how is he going to prove to me that he didn't pay these people or charge these people $400 and whatever it said, $499? Is that what it said? $499.
Well, he says for his course.
I get that, but it says also access to BidNet.
Yeah, I know. I told him that. I said it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. No, I mean, and I was like, it's just, it bothered me a lot. I was like, dude, you can't be doing that. I said, Dave, you can't do that. It's a violation.
I mean, how's he going to show me? Because here's the thing. These people, I've turned them off.
Yeah.
And he probably already knows that, I suppose. But,
he knows that. That's what he called it. It's off. I told him that. So your service is off. And he goes, well, what if I just kept the people I have on? I won't add nobody else on. I'm going to keep my service.
The people he's already made $30,000 on by doing stupid math?
He said he charged him $4.99 for his 12-week course. That's what he said. That's what he told me.
And gave him access to BidNet.
Yeah, I know. I told him that. So that's a violation. That's supposed to be doing that. So I mean,
I got to bring this. I got to run this by Kyle because I can't let him get somehow blindsided by this at some point. Because with these people being off, they're going to call us.
Yeah.
They're going to call us, and we didn't take any money from them. You don't have any charges from us.
I told that. Yeah.
This is why he's upset and crying on the phone, John, because he's charged these people. Now they have no access. Yeah. What's he going to do?
Pay back. Yeah, maybe we should just want them to just be done with it.
Well, I want to talk to Kyle because my concern is these 50 people that have access.
He's got 50 on here?
Well, that's what Kim said. He's maxed out. She thinks that he's also swapped some of those 50. So maybe some of them weren't paying, some of them were. Maybe he has a charge for all 50. I don't know. But if he's to me, if he sold his training services for $499, like he's trying to portray it,
yeah,
with access to our service, he's still reselling our service.
Yeah, I know. I explained it to him. He didn't copy that. But
he's saying in there, along with this, you'll get access to BidNet.
Yeah, I explained that. So you can't have that. I'll take those down. I won't add anybody else on. So if it's up to the loan as it is, he says he won't do it anymore, and he just leave the people that are on there, and that's it. Or we just, he's going to deal with his people himself. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is crazy.
Customer service has been instructed when they call, they need to contact him.
Yeah.
My concern is that's not good enough for somebody when he stops taking their calls.
Yeah.
And they go looking for somebody, and somebody in upper management finds out about this and says, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Yeah, man.
To which I'll tell them we turned them off as soon as we knew. But these people, they're not going to have any leg to stand on with us. They don't have any charge from BidNet.
No,
Right?
not.
But it doesn't mean they can't make a stink and go put up a bunch of negative comments on social media and whatever else.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what this girl that you talked to told Kim. She goes, "This looks bad for you guys." The way.
Well, she was not. I told her, she goes, "Yeah, I was looking out for you guys." I said, "Thank you for telling me." I said, "I had no idea. I mean, this is crazy, crazy."
What prompted her? What prompted her to do this? To call about this?
She just wants to just tell us that it didn't look right to her. That's what she said. She goes, "Well, it didn't look right. I want to let you know that it just looks like he was. It looked like he was trying to portray himself as you." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But not." Because she goes, "I figured that." And I said, and then I said, "Yeah, if you want to one-on-one with me alone, we have a free version." I said, "We have nothing to do with this gentleman. He just has an account with us. That's it." And she goes, I'm just warning." She wasn't mad at us at all. She just said, "I wanted to warn you guys that, it looked a little suspicious. That's all."
Let me read this to me.
I looked at it too.
What is this one? Is this the this is the ad? This is the Craigslist ad, the one that mentions BidNet?
Yeah.
Equipment needed: a cell phone, laptop, high-speed internet. Upon completion of training, you will be issued a license and an option in parentheses. He puts right in the same sentence with BidNet, $495 per year.
Where do you see BidNet on there?
Yeah, look, I'll show you. Isn't this what? Hold on. This is what Kim sent me. This just before I called you.
You share your screen real quick. I just want to see.
Yeah, I'm going to put it right in your chat here. So.
All right.
Right. So in paragraph.
Oh shit.
I mean, it says option to use BidNet, a powerful software, $495 per year. That looks to me like I'm charging just for BidNet.
Yeah, no, I didn't even notice that. I didn't see that part. That's crazy.
Traditional research has a backbone of the community for years. It provides a solid foundation understanding. Again, I think, by the way, this is written horribly. I don't know what he's charging $495 for. He can make the argument, I suppose. I'm charging $495 for the training, but he's really positioned it very badly.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to sell you software. I said, well, that's what it looks like, and that's a total violation of what we do. You can't do that without you cannot. And I understand. He goes, but I'm not trying to say I'm you. I'm just offering a training program, and I'm using BidNet software. And I said that it looks really bad, and that's why you terminated. And he goes, well. Please tell him that, I won't add anybody else on. I have people on there. I just want to keep it like it is. I said, that's all I asked. I doubt it. All I asked. I
have no way to trust this guy now. None.
No.
I mean, again, I would throw this right back in his face and say, you say it right here. Option to use BidNet, a powerful software, $495 per year.
Yeah, that's really bad.
To me, that's look like that's all I'm paying for here is BidNet because you put it in parentheses all by itself. So I'm going to, we're going to leave it. He's staying off for now, right? How'd you leave it with him?
I said I'll get back to him. So I'm going to discuss it with my manager, and I will let you know the result. He has the class on Monday morning, and he says he could have access to it.
Oh, I'm still on the air.
I said,